Ever since Google have launched their Gemini CLI, there has been a lot of buzz around the internet. There has been a lot of tutorials that have been covered in YouTube. So I will make sure that this video is not another Gemini CLI tutorial or how to use Gemini CLI tutorial, because I really believe that this release of Gemini CLI has an actual real world use case that will open up a lot of these autonomous coding agent in the coming days. In this video, I'm going to show you one of the snippet or one of these such use case where you can use this Gemini CLI to do automated coding review for your repository. So let's dive into the tutorial and let me show you how to use the Gemini CLI properly in your coding workflow. So if you can see, this is one of the PR which had over like 962 lines of changes, and this was reviewed by Gemini CLI automatically as soon as I have made the commit, and it has able to find out some critical issues that I had to fix as part of this PR that I was working as part of one of my clients' project work. Similarly, if you see the after I have fixed the issues that was flagged by Gemini peer review, now it has again did another review on the subsequent PR, and then it did another assessment, and it has given the overall assessment and code quality, and also it has given some minor suggestions. This is all automatically. I haven't had to do anything, and I'll show you another example as well, which is here, and it also basically says what are the different code quality and best practices that has been applied into the code. And believe me, this is working just fine because Gemini comes with 1 million context window. That is a perfect opportunity for us to use it for a peer review agent. I have been using Cloud Code to do code review, and frankly it's costly as well, but ever since Gemini have came in, and because it has 1 million context window, I think we could do like code review with Gemini CLI, and then again I use Cloud Code to do more in-depth code review. This has actually benefited, I think, since it has launched over a week. This has actually benefited a lot. We have reduced a lot of tech debts, and the best part is now I'm updating this Gemini CLI, which I'm about to show you, to also automatically create tech debt for all these code that I write. So before I talk about a lot of this, let me first tell you a little bit if you are like hearing of Gemini CLI first time, and then I'm going to take you through how to configure the CLI in your coding workflow so that you can use it as well. And this is, by the way, absolutely free. So you can use this Gemini CLI. And also the project that I'm about to show you is also free. I've created, and it's open source, and you can use it as well. And yeah, if first time into the channel, please go ahead and subscribe this channel because there will be a lot more videos in the coming days on different development tools and voice AI agent and everything. So this is Gemini CLI. Most of you have probably seen. If you have not, then I don't know if you're probably living under the rock. But yeah, jokes apart, Gemini CLI is more like a cloud code, but they come with a lot of the similar feature that you can run the CLI in your terminal, and then you can do, of course, vibe coding and all this stuff. However, I really don't like to use this kind of CLI tool for vibe coding. You see, because if you really want to do vibe coding, why would you even use a CLI tool? I don't know. Like, I know a lot of the tutorial is telling you or talking about using the CLI and just do vibe coding, the files and everything. But I believe, and it's in my opinion, that the main purpose of releasing the CLI tool is to take your coding workflow a step ahead, to do more autonomous coding rather than vibe coding. Because if you really want to be vibe coding, I mean, a developer like over 12 years now, I don't know if there are developers who would like to do vibe coding in a CLI rather than in a GUI like Cursor or Windsurf or Augment Code or whatever is available, right? Because there's no point. If we have VS Code, it's perfectly fine to do vibe code there. I think the main purpose and the main power that you get out of these CLI tools are actually if you use it to make your coding workflow more faster, make your coding workflow more autonomous. And what I mean by that, like since this vibe coding culture have came up, I think we have been doing a lot more code than we used to be. Like I probably every day, all my tools included, I probably write over 5 to 8,000 lines of code every day. So as you can imagine, with 5 to 8,000 lines of code, there is a very chance to create a lot of tech debt, a lot of issues, because these AI tools on the above, it looks really good, but when you actually do some serious coding, this comes with a lot of major flaws. This creates a lot of tech debt, security flaws, and everything. I mean, as you know, if you have been following the channel, I have already launched and SaaS with one of my co-founder, and we of course use all these latest tool to do a lot of code, and we face issues on a regular basis when we use AI to do the coding. And most of our developers are empowered with all the AI tools. You name it, we have it. As I say, from my personal experience, we face a lot of issues. We have even had bugs, which is like a very small one-line bug that has caused our app to get a million requests one day, and like literally have blocked almost all of our clients' IP from Cloudflare. So this is the level of issues that you can get if you're not being careful. And since then, we have actually applied a very strict workflow. We have taken the Cloud Code subscription. We use Cloud Code for every PR review since then in our app, and then we do a manual review, of course, as I said, because every week we release almost 30 to 50,000 lines of code, and that is really, really huge to review manually, right? And it has been unprecedented because never been before there has been such a time where people have done 30, 40,000 lines of code in a week. Now, why I was very, very pumped up and interested when Gemini have launched the CLI tool is because they have 1 million token context window. And I don't know whether it would be debatable to say, but I believe that Cloud's models are still the best in class when it comes to coding. So I would not, even though Gemini 2.5 Pro is really good, but I would not depend on Gemini 2.5 Pro alone to do a code review, or for that matter, write any code for us. So I would rather use Gemini 2.5 CLI to do an initial code review because it has a large context window. So what we have seen often with Cloud Code when we do PR review, especially our release PR, because it got like 20, 30, 40,000 lines of code, it often used to fail those PR review because that has only like, because Cloud Code only have like 200,000 context window. Our PR are often a lot, a lot more. With Gemini CLI, we could do a very PR review. We could find out some issues. I think easily it was able to do, as I was showing, it was able to do some really good suggestion, and then we can use the Cloud Code to look at those code even in more depth. So that made our coding workflow, at least coding review workflow, much better. I have been seeing it at least since the last 1 week. Our code have been much more stable. Our code have been much more bug free, error free. We are doing a lot more tech debt, so we don't have to now wait for our user to raise bug report before we know that there is a tech debt. Now we are able to actually create a tech debt. We are able to actually tag a tech debt with a proper urgency level, that okay, it has to be fixed now, or it can be fixed later on, all this stuff. Okay, now, enough said about that. Let me talk about how you can also use this tool for your own use case for free. I have actually forked the Gemini CLI, and then I created this version called Kno-Gemini-CLI, and the link for this GitHub repository will be in the description. Please go ahead and check this repository. This is again a fork. This is open source. You can go ahead and check out. And what I have basically done, I have not done a lot of change. What I have done mainly is I have made some quick changes in some part of the code, especially around the packages, to make sure that we can run this as part of our GitHub CLI process. So basically what it will do is when you add this Kno-Gemini CLI as an utility in your project repository, then as soon as you do a commit and you raise a pull request in your code repository, it will download Gemini CLI and it will do the PR review automatically. How it is doing so and how to use it, I'll just quickly show you. So basically what you have to do is, first thing, just clone this repository. You don't have to install or do anything else. Okay, just click the link from the description and come to this particular project and go to GitHub PR reviewer folder, and then here you will see a PR review.yml. All you have to do is just click here in this copy button. So this will copy the entire PR review file to your own repository, wherever you want to use this tool to do a free coding review. All you have to do is, in that particular repository, you have to just go to GitHub and then workflow, and then just add the same prreview.yml file and paste the file. Okay, that's it. All you have to do is that, Actually, I'm going to show you how I'm doing that as well in one of the maybe other repository. Okay, so that it makes sense to you. So let me actually randomly select one of the project that I have where we can add this. So let's say I want to apply that in my Kno-Mind repository. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just quick git clone. Probably I already have it. So I'm just going to do open project and select Kno-Mind. So now my Kno-Mind repository has opened. I'll just go to my terminal and just do a git status just to see what folder I am in. I think I am in develop branch, and I'm just going to create another branch. Let's say adding Gemini CLI to review. Let's say that is my branch. And here what we have to do, if you do not have a .github folder, please make sure you have a .github folder. And then here you will create another folder called workflow. Okay, and there you will create a file called pr-review.yaml. That's it. Okay, and then you come back to the Kno-Gemini-CLI, and then as I said, go to GitHub peer reviewer and then peer review file. And as I have said, just copy this content from this file again, just to say come to this particular repository. You don't need to clone it, just come to this, go to GitHub peer reviewer folder, then GitHub workflows peer review.yaml file, just copy the content and then go to your particular repository and add it here. That's it. Once you do that, and then just I'm going to do git add, and I'm going to do a commit, and I'm going to say adding Gemini CLI review. And before you push this to your repository and create a PR, what we have to do is we have to take your Gemini CLI credentials or Gemini API key. Both are free, by the way. Up to 1,000 requests, I think some 1 million context window, it is free. So one thing you can do is, if you have installed Gemini, you can just do Gemini and just make sure you are logged in. I think it's called auth. Yeah, and you can do like login with Google. Just do a login, sign in. Should have got that done. Just to test, I'll say hi. Yeah, it's saying hi, so that means it has logged in. So I'm just going to do quit. And then when you log in, what happens is the Gemini CLI create your credentials into your home folder and then Gemini folder. And here you will have auth to credits JSON. All you need to do is just copy this bit here. Okay, so this whole thing you can copy and then go to your repository. So let's say I was in Kno-Mind project. I will go to settings and secret and variables and then actions. And here in the new repository secret, just click here and then just paste it, the same value that you have cloned it or copied. And in the secret name, we will give the name Gemini auth credential JSON. Please note it. If you cannot remember it, you can watch the video back, or if you go back to the file here in this folder, you have a readme.md, and the readme.md also say the same thing. Create a secret named git Gemini auth credential JSON. So create this variable in your repository, by the way, here, and then add your credential that you have created in your local and just add secret. Now what happens sometime that these credentials actually gets expired every now and then, because this is meant to be running in your local system. This is not meant to be running in the GitHub. So for that reason, what you can also do is just go to Google AI Studio. Okay, and then just create an API key, just select a project, select one project which you do not have any credit card or anything added, so that you are never gonna get charged for it, and just copy this Again, come to your repository in the action secret, create another secret. This time you name it Gemini API key, add the secret and click add, right? So now we have both this OAuth to credential and API key added. By default, the way I have made this fork of Gemini CLI to work is it will always first try to use your OAuth to credential. If that fails, then it will fall back to your API key and it will use that, and then it will do the code review automatically. Okay, so now I have added that into my Kno-Mind project, and make sure you are doing it into the repository secret, not as in the environment secret. You can add it to environment secret, but if you add it to environment secret, then it will be available across all of your GitHub repository. I usually don't like to do that, but once you have done that, now what I can do is just do git status. Okay, I think I have done a mistake. I have to make this folder name as workflows, not workflow. And yeah, then I just need to add it again, just to commit and then just to push. And now if I go back to here in my pull request, and this should kick off my Gemini PR review, which is pull request process, and this will automatically do the pull review. Now what it is doing, just take a quick look, right? So it is automatically setting up the job, and then it is checking out the repository. It is doing a git diff to check whatever was like the difference between your current branch and the new branch. Then it will install Node.js and it will install GitHub CLI. This is, by the way, happening as a GitHub workflow or action. So it is happening like in a sandbox. You don't have to worry about it. And then it's installing the Gemini CLI. If you can see here, as part of install Gemini CLI, this is actually installing this Kno-Gemini-CLI, the exact same repository that I've just shown you. It's just installing that, and then it's running the review process. In the review process, it's just checking if the OAuth to credential is set, which is like from your local authentication. If it is set, then it's fine. And then it is also checking if the Gemini API key is available as fallback, but it says the OAuth to credential is valid JSON, and now it has also validated that OAuth to credential. And if it finds it all good, then as you can see here, it has tried to use that, and then it has tried to do the review process, and then it generated 590 character of review, and the same review is now has been added as comment. So now if I go like in the pull request and check this particular PR, you will see that this code review is automatically added by the Gemini CLI, the version for the fork version that I have created. Again, I have added a subsection here. This will ensure that it is using Kno-Gemini-CLI. So you know that this is reviewed by the version that we have released. And please subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to improve this Kno-Gemini-CLI a lot more, so that instead of adding this just as a comment, it should now start adding like an inline comment. That means it can go ahead and check every file, and it can add comment like this, so that we know line by line where exactly we have to make changes or we have to update. Okay, so basically now I'm happy because it says it looks good, so we can just go ahead and merge this. So now my Kno-Mind project is Kno-Gemini-CLI empowered. So any new PR that I will create from now onwards on this particular project, it will be automatically reviewed by the Gemini CLI. I really hope that it has given you some sense of how to use this kind of CLI tool to really improve the workflow of your coding process. And I'm also creating another project, which I'm going to announce very soon, called No Codex, where we will use Gemini CLI and we'll use Cloud Decode and we'll use a bunch of other CLI based tool to completely automate our workflow, our developments, because as you know, I have already launched a SaaS and I'm always looking out for improved workflow so that we can ship a lot more features and bug fixes and tech debt closed as fast as possible for our users. If you really also want to check the new product that we have launched, that is really for AI agencies to sell voice AI agents under your own brand, go ahead and check the link below and maybe join the waitlist, or if you want, and you can check out the project as well. And let me know in the comments if you have any other questions, and what do you think of this use case of Gemini CLI. So with that said, I'm going to end this video. I really hope this has added some value to your workflow. And if that is the case, please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned, take care, and I'll see you on to the next one. Bye.